What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Tatermeister here, with Hilda, Season 2! Yes. Good presentation, I know. So, I did not script this, believe it or not. This is just me planning it out in my head. I'm gonna try not to say too much. So, as you all know, I'm a Hilda fan. I'll put a link to the Season 1 review in the description. When I watched Season 1, it blew my freaking mind. It's easily my favorite cartoon of all time. So going into Season 2, I was immensely hyped for multiple reasons. One, because Season 1 was a masterpiece, and because I was pretty excited to see how they were going to adapt some of the books, because I read the books after Season 1 I finished, and they're freaking amazing, of course. So, yeah, I was pretty excited for Season 2. I'm just going to give my general thoughts on each episode. Before, if you don't want to get spoiled, because I'm going to have to spoil stuff to really dive into what I loved about each episode. I'll put a timestamp to where I just talk about the season in general. But I'm going to talk about each specific episode this time, because I didn't do that for Season 1. I just kind of briefly talked about Season 1. For Season 2, I actually want to deep delve into it. So, I'll put a timestamp here, where there's no spoilers, just me talking about the season, but my general thoughts. Before I get into each episode, I just want to say, these are just my general thoughts for, how I feel about the season, and well, it's freaking amazing. No, crap. I mean, I think Season 2 had a lot more emotion in it, a lot more development in it, and a lot more, I don't know, it had a lot more energy in it than Season 1. I don't know, I think Season 1's better overall, maybe, but there's episodes in Season 2, which I'm going to get into here, that are legit better than some of the Season 1 episodes, if not, So these are some of my favorite episodes of the show so far. Without further ado, let's get on to Season 2, shall we? The Season 2 premiere of Season 2 and the 14th episode of the series overall is called The Troll Circle, Chapter 14. I know they're called chapters like Mandalorian. So, I gotta admit, Troll Circle is probably the weakest episode of the season. And I'm not saying that just because it's the premiere and I don't know. I was expecting more out of the premiere. It just didn't do a lot, I guess. The first two episodes, I say, might be the weakest of the season, but that doesn't mean they're bad episodes. The Troll Circle is a very good setup episode, but I think it just really just detracts it is just the introduction of Eric Alberg, who, let's be honest, is probably the worst character in this show, but, I gotta admit, I get why he's like that, he's supposed to be unlikable, but, bro, I mean, the entire episode is just about him, and it's just kind of annoying, but... And there's really not a lot going on in the premiere, I guess. I was a little disappointed because the series premiere, the Season 1 premiere, of course, is one of the best series premieres of all time. So I was expecting Season 2 premiere to be excellent. And while it was really good, it didn't quite really do what I wanted to do, which was set up what the season tone was going to be. I honestly feel if they would have simply switched some episodes around, I feel, it would have been better. But I just don't feel this worked as a premiere, in my opinion. But overall, it's a solid 7 out of 10 episode. It has some really good moments with the trolls, and... while Eric is a detestable character and he's just annoying and mean and stupid, I do think, he's funny in that sense. So it wasn't all bad. And Hilda, of course, is amazing. Hilda's one of the best main characters of all time. So she's shown. There wasn't a lot going on in the Troll Circle. And it kind of disappointed me in that. It's the weakest episode of the season easily. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's still a pretty good episode. So now we get a really fun episode after that with Woodman, who, by the way, is my second favorite character after Hilda, the Dragon. Which, I gotta admit, Drogon is an episode that's growing on me. It probably has a lot of rewatch value. I mean, it does expand a lot of the lore, if you remember the Season 1 episode. Yeah, Drogon is pretty much a sequel episode to the Season 1 episode, which is Chapter 9, The Ghost. This is basically the follow-up episode to that episode. And honestly, I think it's really well done. It has an epic ghost ship. Woodman's in it a lot. Woodman is the funniest character in the show, in my opinion, and my second favorite after Hilda, like I just said. And it just has a lot of really witty humor. It has a lot of great moments with Hilda steering the ship and raising the dead up to save the day. It's just a really fun episode. Probably the funnest episode in the season, I'll be honest. It is just a joy. I mean, so overall, a solid 8 out of 10 episode. Much better than Premiere. And has a lot of really watchable epic moments. So maybe overall, it could have been a lot better. It's not a masterpiece episode by any means, but it's really fun. So, I guess there's a little more happen, I guess. There's little flaws in it. And then... oh, man. So, the first two episodes, while are really good, this is where third episode of Season 2 aka chapter 15, or 16, sorry. Chapter 16. This is where the season really gets amazing. In fact, this might just be, I don't know if this is my, it's so hard to choose a favorite from this point on. Which might be my favorite, but I'm going to talk about another episode later. But this is called The Witch. The Witch. Oh my gosh. So, where do I even begin with this one? So The Witch. It's a masterpiece. I don't even know what else like. It's a masterpiece. Look, it's a 10 out of 10 episode. It's a 10 out of 10 episode for many reasons. One, you have Hilda and Frida having some of the most epic character development in an episode that's ever been. Of course, you have the librarian being revealed to be Kaiser. Kaisa, was that her name in season 1? I don't know. Librarian had a lot of, there's so much character development story in this episode, and the moments are epic when Hilda gets the sword, when Frida uses her powers, when the librarian uses her powers. They introduce Tilda, you know, who was a little character in season 1 who wasn't in it a lot. Tilda is actually the mentor of the librarian. I mean, bro, it's just a really, really epic episode in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, Tildy. This is the first, I mean, she was in a little of season 1. I don't remember which episode she was in, because I guess she wasn't a big character in season 1. But Tildy makes her grand appearance in this episode, The Witch. And she becomes one of my favorite characters. Tildy is just amazing. I mean, she's overpowered as hell. She's easily the most powerful witch in this series. And she is just great. She is a joy every time she's on. So, overall, guys, The Witch is a 10 out of 10 episode. It is just perfect. I have no gripes with it. It's just epic. I don't even know what to say, really. Alright, so from this point on, after The Witch, every episode is a complete banger, almost. Like, there's not one dead moment after that episode. Alright, so after 3, we have chapter 17 of the series, and the 4th episode of season 2, called The Eternal Warriors, which gives David a ton of development and a ton of fun with him. I mean, this episode is completely centered around him, almost. And my gosh, Eternal Warriors is just another really rewatchable, epic episode. Now, maybe not quite as good as The Witch. Maybe not. But it's still very, 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 very...
6.5 hours later.
Very, 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 very great. It is very great. So, for a while, I mean, I've always been a David fan. I think he's pretty great. But in this episode, it centers around him and how he's, like, not as cool as Frida and Hilda. Hilda's the courageous leader with the epic badass skill. And Frida's the cool witch lady with all the smarts. So this episode was kind of centered around him to explain what his importance to the team was, you know, because he was always the cowardly guy that didn't really do much. So this episode is really good on that development aspect. It's very great. I mean, and of course the deaths with all the killing. I might play that clip.
David! Oh, it worked. What's going on?
Try again.
Like those deaths in the episode are pretty funny. It's just like, try again, you know. Honestly, the episode is just a joy. I mean, it has great music, great development. It's just a fun episode. It's a 9 out of 10. Not maybe a masterpiece episode, but it's a ton of fun. I love it. It's great. What did we expect? Alright, enough about Eternal Warriors. By the way, you see D-Rex back there. He's going to be the background guy for the most of the... I want to be in more of my videos, so how you doing, D-Rex? Pretty alright? Okay. I want to be in more of my videos, so I thought, hey, I'll put him in the background now. So, up next we have the Windmill. Now, the Windmill is a very special episode. It returns one of the coolest characters in the show, Victoria Van Gale, and... By the way, this is a sequel episode to The Storm, which was an episode in Season 1. Yeah, I know, some of the episodes in Season 2 are sequel episodes to Season 1 episodes, but that's just to be expected in a Season 2 of a show. So, anyway, The Windmill, I'm going to just say it, it's a masterpiece, too. Like, this episode, oh my gosh, like, I can't even believe, like, it is spooky, it has a vibe to it, it has character development, it has... epic scenery. It's just wonderful. It might even better than The Storm. And The Storm was an epic episode, but honestly, I feel Windmill might be better. It is just amazing. Just truly amazing. I don't even know what to be said. Just watch it. I mean, if you ever watch Season 2, please watch it. So, why even here? Next up after that, we have Chapter 19, which is, I'm just reading from my phone here. The Old Bells of Trollberg. Now, I gotta admit, Old Bills of Troberg might be a weaker episode, but it's still very great. It has a lot of the characters teaming up for this epic heist to take down the bells, and because, Eric Alberg wants to put up all the bells. And I honestly think it's pretty epic. I mean, it's all the characters get time to shine. Woodman, Tontu, everybody. They all get time to shine in this episode. And it's pretty cool. I really like that. I like episodes where we get to band together for an epic cause to stop this stupid thing from happening. And it's really fun. It's a really fun episode. Solid 8 out of 10. Very great. So, let's move on. The Beast of Black Cauldron, episode 7 of season 2, which is chapter 20. Masterpiece. Yeah, it's a masterpiece. I mean, you're gonna hear this a lot. I mean, a lot of these episodes are masterpieces. The Bells of Black Cauldron has return of that dragon guy, which is the Lindworm's what it's called. Yeah, that's the dragon. He comes back, and it's basically a sequel episode to that episode, which was the Lost Clan. Let me just tell you, this had some epic stuff. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Almost every episode in this season's epic, but I mean, man, what a surprise towards the end. I'm not even gonna spoil what happens. It's just there's too much epic stuff happening here. It's great. Epic's episode, 10 out of 10. So then we move on to another masterpiece episode, the 50-year night. Honestly, this is the most emotional episode of the show, and might just be objectively the best one. Probably my favorite one. It's beyond perfect. And I almost teared up. I kind of teared up a little bit. 50-year night. I cannot even believe. Probably one of the best time travel episodes of a show in general. Not just cartoons, but shows in general. It is a perfect time travel episode. I can't even describe it to you. You just have to watch it. There's no way to describe it. I can't even. I'm not going to spoil it. It's 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. Let's move on. Oh, what's after the 50-year night? Oh, chapter 22? Wow, it's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Look, you're just going to hear this a lot from me here. I mean, this is my favorite cartoon we're talking about. So, the Deer Fox. I mean, I almost didn't give this a 10 out of 10 because it can be a little sappy and corny at times, but I just feel Deer Fox is just so well handled that I just don't even care. Like, they build up to this episode. Like, over the season, they build up to some of these episodes, and Deer Fox is like a culmination of everything that Twig was feeling. And it has the most development we've had for him in the whole show so far. We get to deep dive into Hilda's past and Twig's past, and it's just beautifully well done. I mean, I just can't even fault it. It's so well done. I mean, they have this epic fight with this fox, and there's this beautiful moment where he goes to live, but he comes back down because he wants to be with Hilda. For a minute, I thought they were going to do this Butterfree thing where Twig was just going to be gone. But I knew that was going to be too sad, so they didn't do that. But I'm kind of glad because the episode kind of has a great message to it. It's about what really is your home. Your home is your family. And I think that message is beautifully well done and said here. So for that reason, it's a 10 out of 10. It's a beautiful episode. So up next we have the Yule Lads. Now, Yule Lads isn't a masterpiece episode, but definitely not. It does have a few issues here and there, which I'm going to get into in a second. But either way, Yule Lads is a fantastical time. It's one of the best Christmas episodes ever. Maybe not best Christmas episode of all time, but it's freaking great. Hilda hasn't really handled the whole Christmas holiday thing yet, and so it was pretty well handled here. I mean, they knew that this show was going to come out around Christmas, so they obviously wanted to make an episode about it, and I think it was pretty well done. It's pretty fun. Now, I gotta admit, the climax at the end was pretty different. Like, it wasn't like a normal Hilda episode where it's like a crazy thing happens at the end. It's kind of had just a pretty simple culmination climax, like, resolution to the episode, which I'm kind of glad because it kind of makes the season better because not every episode is the same, At least this episode ended a little differently. But I kind of wish that we got an epic monster fight. We didn't get that at the end. But oh well, it's still a nice episode and a solid 9 out of 10. Very great episode. Very well handled, and it's just a lot of fun. It's just really great. So next we got the Jorts incident, which is like a really fun episode, of course. I don't think this is a perfect one, though. It is kind of a slow burn. I do really enjoy it, though. It's very good, of course. It's Hilda. All the episodes are good. But I do think it could have been a lot better, I guess, like in some of the story aspects. I do like it though a lot. It's fun, very fun. Has Hilda and the gang trying to save this Jort's place. You know, the librarian's in it. Kaisa, she comes back again. She's a great character, and it's just a really fun little adventure that they have to stop the use of Tide Mice again. It's a sequel to the Tide Mice episode. I guess I know a lot of these episodes are sequel to season 1 episodes, but that's to be expected. So overall, pretty fun episode. Solid 8 out of 10. Very great. And then we have another. You know, up to this point, you know, season 2 was, you know, starting to lack in the aspect of Alpha becoming a side character. Up to this point, I was like, why is Alpha even in the show anymore? You know, I was like, what is this even his purpose? Finally, we get an Alpha-centered episode. The Replacement, which is season 12, which is episode 12 of season 2, chapter 25 overall. And honestly, it's pretty spectacular. Should I give it a 10 out of 10? No, no, it won't get the 10. It's not a masterpiece episode, but The Replacement is certainly great. It has great development for Alpha. It shows that how important of a character he actually is to everybody. And it just shows how great of a character he was. Because in season 1, Alpha was great. Up around season 2, you know, a lot of season 2, he's kind of a goofy, not doing much character. But I'm glad they had an episode just for him. Replacement gives him a lot of development and a lot of time with him, and I really like that. It made the season a lot better with just this one episode. This episode really helped with Alpha's character. I mean, Alpha needed this episode. It's just so well done. I really can't gripe it. It's not a perfect episode, I guess, but it's so great. I just have to give it a 9 out of 10. Very great episode. So now, we make it to the Stone Forest, which is a 10 out of 10. And one of the coolest cliffhangers. I already know what happens because there's a book called The Mountain King, which I read. I know what happens later, and they're probably going to center that movie episode around that book. But the Stone Forest is still epic. The whole season has been building up to this episode, mainly just to the fact that Mom and Hilda's relationship has been having a rocky time this season. Yeah, I just realized that was a pun. Oops. So it all culminated into this finale, which is just really great. It's just really great. Maybe not the best episode of the season, but a very great finale, and I think it was very well handled on many different levels. I don't know. Is it perfect, though? I mean, I'm going to say it is, because the animation in this episode probably is the best in the whole show, and the animation in this episode is literally flawless. I mean, a lot of the episodes have pretty epic animation, but like, I just think Stone Forest was just so well done on every level. Maybe not as good. Is it better than the season 1 finale, though? I mean, it's hard to say. They're about on par with each other. I think Stone Forest has the benefit of being longer and having more in it to offer than... I think it has more rewatch ability factor than season 1's finale does, but that doesn't really mean it much to me. Season 2's finale is great, but... I don't know. I just really love this freaking episode, and I love this season. It's Hilda. Do I even need to explain this to you? Jeez. Okay, so now I'm just gonna give my general thoughts on this season. So yeah, it's amazing. I can't even front Hilda. Like, Hilda's easily the best Netflix show that's ever been put on Netflix, and one of the best cartoons ever made. In my opinion, it is my favorite cartoon. Even more so than Avatar: The Last Airbender, because Avatar: The Last Airbender, there was parts and moments where it lagged a little bit. But when I try to find flaws with Hilda, I literally freaking can't. It's just so hard to find problems. I mean, Avatar: Last Airbender had a couple, just small ones. You know, there were small ones Avatar: Last Airbender. That's my second favorite cartoon of all time, mind you. But Hilda has so much rewatchability factor. Like, I can just sit back, click, shapoo, and watch a Hilda episode whenever I want, and just feel happy. It's a joyous show with amazing characters, amazing animation, and just an amazing story. It's Hilda. Do I even need to explain this to you? I'm just going to say the same thing with season 3. This show is perfect. I don't know what more you want me to say. God, like, it's a perfect cartoon. Like, I can't front it. I really can't front it. But anyway, guys, so yeah, Hilda season 2 is a masterpiece. What else do you think I was gonna give it? Frick. I mean... yeah. So yeah, Hilda, it's perfect. It's literally amazing. I mean, masterpiece show. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how anybody can watch this show and say it's bad or don't like it. You have to like some things. I don't even... Is it even possible to dislike this show? Is it possible? I want to know somebody that actually can say, I don't like Hilda. I think it's a bad show. I mean, I want to meet somebody like that, because I don't know if that's physically possible. Like, bro. But easily, I think the highlights were easily The Witch and 50-Year Night. Those are my 2 favorites, and the finale. Those are my 3 favorite episodes, but I still really, really love this season overall. It's just so almost on par with season 1, if not better. But anyway, guys, so that was my review on Hilda season 2. A lot longer than the first one, that's for sure. Because, I mean, I wanted to have more sayings. But there really ain't much to say about Hilda. That's not been said already. I mean, I'm glad more people are becoming fans of it. When I first watched season 1, it wasn't a big show really yet. It was really just a show I watched, really, and not a lot of other people were watching. Now that season 2's come out, a lot more fans have joined on. It's become a much bigger show. Thank God. It deserves more recognition. It's an amazing freaking show, an amazing cartoon, an amazing piece of art, I'm gonna be honest. It's just great. Now, if I had to come up with a flaw for season 2, it's just Eric Alberg. Any scenes with him, I was a little annoyed because he's my least favorite character. I understand they have to make him unlikable and like that, but they could have had something with him. He's like the only problem I can say. That's why season 1's a little better in my opinion, because it doesn't have Eric. I know that's mean to say. I mean, he might have been in it for a little bit. He wasn't in focus. I just don't like him at all. He's like literally the worst Hilda character, and I think most people will agree with me. He's just annoying. He's just a freaking egotistical, annoying fuck. But I don't even know how else to word that. But like, seriously, I just don't like him at all. And I love almost every character. He's just that one character that I just don't like. And I like almost all the characters. But anyway, guys, so thank you all for watching. And the Tatumeister is going on a life of adventure. Hilda season. The Tatumeister is. Bye-bye.
Candy paint with the white on top. Lambo doors or the woo up drop. If you busy plotting on what I got, kicking your door.